All right, well, welcome everybody. This is the first time we're going live on our YouTube page. Thank you guys so much for joining us today, whether you're watching it live with us or whether you're watching it after this is recorded. Just kidding, we're not live on YouTube. Did that freak you out at all?
No, I was just like, oh, I know we talked about that in the parking lot, but hey, I guess we're going live.
All right.
And then I saw a red dot, and I was like, hey.
Well, hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for the Online Edge podcast, the only podcast that promises to make 80s quotes over the course of the next 6 minutes.
Wow.
I promise.
It's all going to be you.
You don't know any 80s quotes?
No.
I got 80s quotes coming out my ears, man.
Because
all right, I wanted to talk today. We talked about a couple of different things, but I want to talk today about when retail should start marketing again. And kind of developing a bit of a strategy about that. So different states are doing different things right now. Georgia has been by far, it looks like, at least the most aggressive when it comes to a very populous state. Cities like Atlanta and very large cities in that state reopening. Texas, where we are, is probably going to be a pretty close second. We'll see. There's supposed to be we've made small steps, and there's supposed to be another announcement on Monday, and so steps are being made right now. But I think it's a really good question because for most of this coronavirus, retail, and understandably so, have really shut down as far as advertising is concerned. So walk me through as put yourself in the mind of somebody, because we always try to approach how we spend ad dollars, how we strategize as if we were the business owner. There's way too many ad companies out there trying to spend money, trying to up your spend so that they take a percentage of what the spend is, so they make more money. We always try to put ourselves in the seat, have to have the perspective of the owner, because that's how we want to think about things. So put yourself in the perspective of the owner right now, that we do on a very regular basis, and talk to me about some of the stuff that you would think through before you were to reopen.
Yeah, so, I mean, here's the good news and the bad news, okay, about this whole situation is that the good news, we're going to get through this. And the bad news is that we're going to get through this. And so we have to go through this period, right? And so we should be doing everything possible right now to be as productive so that as soon as this thing opens up, we're hitting the ground running from day one.
So you're saying you have the need.
Yeah.
The need for speed.
The need for speed.
That's an important thing.
100%.
So, at this point, what I'm encouraging clients to do, some of our clients, not all of them, not by a long stretch, we have clients over the United States, but a lot of our clients are local. And I'm encouraging everybody to be keeping an eye on their state's news, listening to when governors make announcements, that kind of thing. We have our ear real close to the ground in Texas because we live here. And so we're watching those live streams when he goes live, when Governor Abbott goes live, because we want to be calling our clients immediately after. In fact, the last one, I called a couple of them just saying, hey, I think we're getting semi-close here, and starting to talk through, hey, here's some of the strategies that we need to be thinking about before we are able to open. And it looks like in a lot of states, there's not going to be a 2-week window as to when the governor announces it and when it actually happens.
Yeah.
It could be
several days.
It could be 3, 4, 5 days in a lot of cases. And so the first thing I would say is sit down. Obviously, be actually listening to local news. Don't get caught off guard by that. Don't be 2 days behind. Be listening to local news. Figure out, hey, listen to hints that some of these politicians are giving, because that happened in Georgia. There were we feel like that's happening in Texas right now. And so be listening to that, get some kind of anticipation going as far as that side of stuff is concerned. I'm not saying make announcements. I'm not saying any of that kind of thing. I'm just saying you as the business owner, be listening and come up with some, be anticipating this thing. Be thinking through, okay, man, if he announces it, or she, depending on what state you're in, if they announce it on Monday, that it's Friday, what would need to be put in place for that to take place so that you're not just head spinning on this thing. Be listening. And the second thing is actually develop a plan. So if it was announced today that you could open in 5 days, what would the plan be? would you be contacting employees? Would you need to go and clean the facility again? Do you have a plan to keep the facility clean? Do you have a plan to talk to communicate to customers about how you're keeping the facility clean? Because that's part of what's going to change in all this. We've talked about this in previous podcasts before. People are going to be more conscious of germs than ever before, at least for a period of time after this, at least for the rest of 2020, and probably forever.
Yeah,
it's probably
definitely
just the new normal.
It's definitely going to be changed for a long time, probably forever, just because everybody. I mean, we talked in the last podcast about how long it takes to create a habit. We're so far down the rabbit trail now of everybody being consumed by this, that it's going to be the thing that everybody is on the front of everybody's mind.
Exactly,
is cleanliness. Right. And so going kind of on top of what you're saying right now about the plan is, what are you going to do and how are you going to communicate to people when you are able to open that it is safe for people to come and do business with you again?
Or even safer than the competition.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to mention names on that. In fact, in most cases, I recommend not doing that. But you definitely can say, we're for us, we have two pretty, owned by the same person, two pretty large fitness facilities in this area that we're going to help reopen. And one of the things that we're communicating to that team is using terms like, we're the cleanest fitness environment that you're going to walk into. And it's going to be true. They're taking big steps to make sure that things are sanitized, to make sure that things are cleaner than they ever have been before. And they were always committed to that, and they're doubling down on it. They're hiring special cleaning teams to come in every day to clean up and make sure that things are sanitized.
And that's a good example of the plan that's already being put in place now, way before. I mean, who knows when this thing's going to open up, but even say it's 2 weeks from now, he's already ahead of the curve.
Exactly right.
Because everybody else is going to be playing catch up.
Well, life comes at you pretty fast. And if you don't stop and look around every once in a while, you could miss it. Third 80s quote. Go ahead. I promised I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so the second thing is, the third thing, we talked about making a plan. We talked about being aware. We talked about making a plan. From there, how soon if you know that if you have a feeling it's 2 weeks out, but you don't know for sure, do you start advertising yet, or do you wait until you know for sure when the opening day could be?
I would totally, I wouldn't wait till I had a deadline in the sand, because you're going to be playing catch up.
Okay.
We know that it's in the future, in the near future. I wouldn't go ham and eggs, but I would start opening up a few things, getting it ready. I would be taking advantage of everything you can do from a free standpoint.
Really good.
Email campaigns. Now is the time more than ever that if especially going forward, I think people are going to realize that it is more important than ever to be collecting email addresses, to be collecting contact information, to be collecting everything you can for every single person you interact with, so that right now you can be sending out email campaigns for coupons, for, hey, we're going to be opening soon, we just wanted to stay in front of you, thank you for your business, whatever, just to be communicating to that current client base that you've already done business with. And actually, it's been surprising to me how many people I've talked to over the past 6 weeks or so when we've been having discussions about email campaigns, and people are like, I don't really have those. Like, I haven't really been collecting those. And that is such a big opportunity
they've had the email addresses and not been using them.
Yes.
Which is like having cash buried in a tin in your backyard.
Yep.
So another thing I'd be thinking about along with that is, and this is a strategy that we're doing with a lot of our clients, is we're writing ad copy now, putting together the ads now, so that we don't have to go through the approval process once we know.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line is that Facebook is filled with Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you're running ads, it's people behind those. And to a certain degree, algorithms get to approve and deny. But I've had numerous ads before denied by an algorithm that shouldn't have been denied. You put them back through, a human looks at it and says, hey, this actually is okay, and it can run. And a lot of times, so Facebook says, just to use them as an example, that it could be up to 24 hours before an ad starts running. Well, when all this started going down, it was way longer than 24 hours before ads to start getting approved.
And because of everything going on right now, their staff is so limited
Exactly.
and reduced that you can't even get on the phone and talk to somebody.
Exactly right. So imagine what it's going to look like when tens of thousands of businesses can start opening up
Correct.
again, and people are all slamming that marketplace with advertisements. You're going to have ads getting approved slower and slower and slower. So a great strategy would be, what do you want to say now? What do you want to say when you know you can open? Get that ad approved. Don't run it yet. It doesn't cost you anything to get an ad approved and then pause the thing. But get the ad approved so that the day that you know this is our opening day, we can start advertising again. You can push play on something. And if you want to announce, people are going to know, by the way, what the opening day is. So you don't have to say specifically in the ad, we're opening back up this day. You need to start communicating in that ad your competitive advantage and those types of things. Not necessarily a specific date. People are going to know the specific date. It's going to be plastered everywhere. So that's not necessarily the goal. The goal of this thing is to get out ahead of what's your plan for how clean you guys are going to be. What's your plan for steps that you're taking and communicating those types of things. And I would actually consider running ads with those types of things in mind, because it's going to be on the front of everybody's mind. So at the end of the day, if you build it, they will come.
Number 4.
Do you know what movie that's from?
No, I don't know what
God,
movie that's from, but
dude.
come on now.
Field of Dreams, man. That's one of the most important movies. James Earl Jones, Kevin Costner. We're watching that movie immediately after
Can you
this.
play the sound effects just like crickets?
I just guessed.
God, that's the wrong button.
Dang
Wrong
it.
button. You had one chance. Gosh, God.
All
We
right.
have too much fun.
The another thing that I would be thinking about right now. I loved what you said as far as the email side of stuff is concerned.
It's free advertising. I mean, you now is the time more than ever. You've already done business with somebody, right? And I can't remember what the actual statistic is, but it's something crazy, like 80% higher, 60% higher chance that somebody's going to repurchase from you after they've already done business with you. So you've already got those people that have said, yes, I'm going to do business with you. You should be totally leveraging that opportunity to be able to just bring those people back in the door as soon as you're open again.
The other thing to think about in this, because we kind of made fun of a little bit at the very beginning, because we got emails from everybody saying this is how we're handling Corona, and half of them were like, I don't care how a pool guy who built my pool 6 years ago that was literally one of the examples, is handling the coronavirus right now. Be careful that when you do start making announcements and when you do start and you do put out emails and that kind of thing, it is not just a cookie cutter of exactly what everybody else is doing. Because I talked to maybe 36 people all saying the exact same thing. I'm getting emails out the wazoo right now for people. I don't care how they're handling coronavirus.
Well, but when you read through it, it's almost a copy and paste from the person.
Exactly
It's basically people are going to a website, copying and pasting what those people said, and then putting it in place. And it's probably not the same situation or procedures that they're actually taking. So
there's no telling. The key of with this is sit down. You can, get ideas from other people. There's nothing in the world wrong with that. But sit down and develop a email, an announcement that sounds like you, written to people who are going to read this thing. So you need to empathize where they're at right now. You need to sound like a human being, not like a PR statement. Otherwise it's just going to get skipped over. You're going to be the butt of a joke. But man, it's a great opportunity if you actually want to sit down and say, hey, listen, we sat down as a team and we said, how are we going to protect our customers or our clients? And these are the 5 steps that we're taking that we already were doing these things beforehand. These are the extra things that we're doing now that we weren't doing beforehand because we want to make sure that we keep you safe. That's the kind of stuff that if I read that as a consumer, I'm like, oh my gosh, you want to be, you as a consumer, just take your business hat, your business owner's hat off for a second. You as a consumer want to be treated like an individual, like the business actually does care about you, like you're more than a dollar amount. That's how your customers want to be treated. And so if it's just this droning announcement that sounds like it was read by a high school math teacher, Bueller, then it's gonna end up getting trashed, and really it's gonna have the opposite effect that you were looking for. You were looking for a positive. Here's what we're doing, and in reality, it's gonna be a negative. Toss it in the trash and oh my God, I'm just another number to these people. Make it a personal note, and even if it's going out to 8,000 people, you can still talk about your care for those individuals.
More so than ever, especially because of this. Like, look, we've been on the track of customer experience and personal interaction with consumers for the past several years, right? Like, we've been on that track of making things more personal to the end consumer.
Exactly.
This is just times that by 12, right? Like,
exactly.
You have to put your empathy hat on and care about each individual person that is going to be having an interaction with you if you're going to come out on the other side of this winning and surviving the long haul.
That's right, Goose. I'm amazing at this. I just want to say
he's amazing at this because he's like,
I have not one time.
Okay.
Hey, thank you guys so much for watching this podcast. Business owners, we're pulling for you. Those of you who are clients, we are here for you big 100%.
Time. You can reach Lee, myself, or anybody on the team 24/7.
Absolutely.
7 days a week.
We're here for you. We know that these are tough times, and we want to be here for each and every one of you, and making sure that we help those of you who had to close make this reopening the grandest open that you've ever had. So I think a lot of consumers are going to be ready to spend, ready to support businesses, ready to support retail when this takes place, and we want to be part of that success story. So thank you again so much for watching, so much for listening, and we will see you next time.